Oh,
Stars?
stars? Hey,
Stars.
game.
Did your controller just die?
Hey, game.
Controller?
Game.
Is this how the LP started?
Yes.
Yes.
There's only one chance left. Your controller
There's only
must
one
start
chance.
functioning.
Okay.
There's only one chance left, and well, since the controller's not working, I guess we're
Okay.
all doomed.
There we go. Alright.
Thanks, Laura. You
Welcome
beat
to
us
Let's
all.
Play Resident Evil 3 Nemesis, the 1999 original,
Yeah.
not
It
that
is
fancy-ass remake that came out.
It is only appropriate at this point that this video would start some way like that.
Yeah.
When have we started one of these LPs legitimately without a fuck-up?
Okay, we're
Or just
actually...
Good
something
answer.
silly.
Yeah.
Or without something intentionally silly, yeah.
Yeah.
So we're loading my clear data because I have 2 costumes unlocked that I would like to show off. I thought about unlocking all the costumes, but yeah, I don't have that patience anymore. So
You thought about it, but then no.
Game shark, game shark.
yeah, like I actually
We can show off whatever we don't at the end, is basically the game plan here.
yeah, I did play this game a lot on the PlayStation 1, and so all my save data is on my memory card, which I don't have access to, so I have like all the costumes and all the extra stuff, but
So,
Just
Real
send
quick,
me your
just-
memory card, I'll use my capture card.
yeah.
just to... Is this voice overed?
Yeah.
Oh. Okay, well, I'll wait a second.
Okay.
No one dared to oppose them,
It's gonna load.
and that lack of strength would ultimately
There we
lead to their destruction.
I have no idea what she says here, to be honest. I don't remember. I can't
suppose
hear
they
it,
had
so
to
it's
suffer
like...
consequences of their actions, but there would be no forgiveness.
I remember it being really
Only
silly,
if
though.
They had had the courage to fight.
Kind of silly the way it is now with just a JPEG sliding left silently.
Yeah! We just see this blue filtered JPEG slide from right to left.
I forgot you
be
guys
right
can't
back.
hear it.
Okay.
Raccoon City's last chance.
It's fine, it doesn't matter.
and my last chance.
What matters is the
My
video,
last
gets it.
escape.
And cutscene.
So, but I was gonna... Fucking... Okay, I'm talking over this shit, I don't care.
What are they? Ah.
Ah.
Is it the police?
Oh, police.
It really even be a CLG Let's Play. I need to just fucking disconnect.
Oh.
We're,
Yep.
we're hitting all the check boxes.
Really early this time. Did it just happen again? No, okay.
We also had the requisite Anstca BRBing.
Yeah.
It's good. We got everything out of the way right off the bat.
Yeah, honestly. The only thing that's missing so far is we haven't gotten to scream yet. And hey, the video's not over yet, so of course we haven't screamed.
or the egregious innuendo.
Oh, give it time. Wait till you see what Jill's wearing. Its nickname is basically gonna cover that.
Oh.
I'm back.
Farewell to my home, farewell to my home, my life in my home, my last chance for survival. This is my last escape.
Is there a comma there?
I don't know. Anyway, I'd like to introduce you all to the Boob Tube.
Yep.
They should have called it Resident Evil 3 Last Escape.
They did in Japan.
Of course they did.
Oh, oops.
So,
You know.
Yeah.
Biohazard Last Escape?
Biohazard 3 Last Escape, yeah.
Ah.
So what I wanted to touch on earlier is the last, we did Resident Evil 2 at some point or another. When we finished it, I remember, I vaguely recall a comment that was like, are you guys gonna do the remake? And I thought we had talked about that, but I honestly can't remember. So I'll actually make an explicit point of talking about it here. I will be doing the remake of this game eventually. That's all I got. Eventually.
September 28th.
We're talking like end of the line. Probably.
Yeah, that's way later. That'll probably be
Taken the city.
excluding any games that come out after it, that's currently the last in the list of things we need to do for this series. Though obviously, future releases past that game, we will do as well, probably.
You know, there's
Most
already
likely.
rumors about 8.
Yeah, I know. And also, since we usually don't really talk about when we're recording these, but just because I think it might be relevant in conversation that might happen. Three's remake's been out for like a week.
I'm sorry about your daughter.
I'm basically already LP ready for that game. I've done every difficulty already.
Nice.
I'm not going anywhere.
Which, by the way, wouldn't I recommend? Anstca watch me do a boss fight for 7 hours.
Yes. No, like, no joke.
That is some Kingdom Hearts critical mode bullshit.
Oh, yeah.
It was fucking ridiculous. It was 7 hours on the final boss.
Yeah.
And me, Anstca, Frieza, we just fucking sat there. I was doing this one boss. I started at like 7 p.m. and didn't get done until like, it was like, what, 1:30 in the morning?
Yeah. It was crazy.
It was fucking
It
stupid.
just kept going.
I just
would
kept...
not stop. Yeah.
Anyway, Resident Evil 3 Original, it's kind of a weird, in like the context of this series, it's kind of a weird thing, because there's not, I mean, not a lot of these games take place like, because if people don't know, this game takes place before and after Resident Evil 2, and I guess a little bit during. There's no crossover in terms of like, the characters don't meet.
Yeah.
Why?
I'm sorry, I still have Kingdom Hearts on the brain, so I thought Resident Evil 358 Days Over 2.
There's no crossover between like Claire, Leon's stories and Jill's story, but they happen at like basically the same time frame in the same city. Obviously, it's Raccoon City, and it's kind of a weird thing in the series because most of the games take place like a significant distance apart from each other. Like even 1 to 2 is a couple months, and then after that it gets progressively longer. You know, so it's kind of a, and I think that has a lot to do with this game was originally going to be like a spin-off kind of deal. But then it wasn't. It was just made the third game.
Yeah.
So here we are.
Well, and like
So-
I'm sure I mentioned in too, like I know absolutely nothing about
Yeah.
this game.
Take
I
that.
mean, I know who Nemesis is.
Stars.
I mean, I know I know he hunts you, and you have to deal with him.
Well,
a few times.
spoilers! We don't even know who that is yet. Jeez.
His name is literally in the title.
Really? Because it looks like it just has Resident Evil 3 down there in the YouTube video to me.
We already
So-
went through the title screen, though.
Yes,
Fuck.
it was in the title screen. Look, okay.
So,
Either we spoil or we don't, alright? What?
I was just gonna
So-
explain that this game uses gunpowder to make more ammo.
Mhm.
So these gunpowder A is for like handgun ammo, gunpowder B is for shotgun ammo, and if you mix them together, it gives you magnum ammo and grenade rounds.
So it's something worth note if you do go back and play this game and you're maybe like a more fan of the more modern games in the series or whatever, you know, like 7, 2, whatever. It's worth noting that you should make sure you use that reloading tool a lot if you're playing on hard.
Yes.
Because the game does not compensate ammo placements, they compensate gunpowder placements more often than not. And if you're like me, you might think, well, I might be able to get by with just what's there. There's your list.
Yep, there's
of
your list.
Ammo types.
I know you meant remake, but when you said modern releases, you only just said 7 and 2.
I did too. If you like the modern ones, like 7 or 2,
Yes, because
So-
Resident Evil 2 is actually modern because things are just looped around on itself.
Okay.
so don't be like me, because these guys all watched me play this game a couple of months ago, and I did my hardest to never use the reload tool. I think I used it once,
Yeah.
and it made it significantly more difficult on myself. You are meant to use this new mechanic, which is a good thing to do with your new mechanic. So don't think of it as like a pride thing, I guess. Like you should use it. I have this tendency to like unnecessarily limit myself when I do shit like this. It's not good. It doesn't help.
Like you assume it's meant to be a handout to a
You know what?
newbie
Actually,
player when it's
Yeah.
actually just like, no,
It's
you're
integral
meant
to
to
what's
use
going on.
this.
Be using this.
And I did that with Resident Evil 3's remake, where there's like these New Game Plus items, and I didn't use them for the harder difficulties, and it became apparent that you're supposed to, but I didn't, so I spent 7 hours fighting the final boss.
Are the
Yeah.
higher difficulties locked behind like
They are you
completion?
beat hard, and then you get the next hardest, and then you beat that one, and you get the hardest.
Okay.
So it's
yeah, that
easy,
is,
normal,
that does
hard, hardest, or harder, hardest.
Yeah.
There is some logic to that then that you.
Yeah,
you're
it
supposed
was
to use.
more like I said. I'm kind of just weirdly prideful about things like that.
Yeah.
By the
kinda
time
get
I was
that.
like, I should probably have used these items. I was at like the last third of the game, and I'm like, fuck it.
There we go.
Yeah, like, I'm
I kinda
here.
get that,
Let's
though.
do it. I haven't used them yet. Maybe there's an achievement or something.
Oh no, I knew the whole achievement list. I was just doing it because I'm me. I was like, I'm gonna fucking do this. Never am I doing it again. I did it once, but. Whew. And that's kind of what I did when I played this game too, because I was like, I don't need the reload tool. And technically, I didn't, because I beat the game only using it like once or twice. But I probably should have just used it. So because one of the traps, I guess, kind of here is like, by and large, you're supposed to kill things, which, if you've played other games in the classic series, isn't necessarily the way things go all the time. Sometimes it's better to avoid a zombie. In this game, I found that it was kind of just kill for the most part. You'll be okay. They give you enough
Oops.
gunpowder even on.
Why did she
even on
do that?
hard. I don't know, man. Auto aim.
I guess.
That you can just kill things and you'll be alright. And I did come to that conclusion near the end of the hard mode run, where I just started blasting away willingly.
I've only seen a little bit of this game, like I saw bits of what you were playing over Discord,
Nope,
and I saw
not
like
that
a
way.
little bit of someone else's stream once.
Mhm.
But for what little I've seen of this game, one thing that occurred to me was like, I like how ambitious this seems, like how much they try to create, how they kind of very, like you feel like you're actually in like a city. Like for a
Yeah.
PS1 game, this is kind of.
I highly respect this game in a lot of aspects. Big E concert starts at 7:30 p.m. I just respect like one, just doing something different from the last two games, because the last two games, even two, which kind of did the whole like getting chased thing, didn't really do it because Mr. X was
Oops.
a joke. I don't know if we've even seen him in our LP of 2 or not. I don't remember. Probably. Anyway, he's a joke, is my point. He's really easy to avoid.
I believe so, because he shows up in the B scenario.
You did do a B scenario. And this game kind of takes that to a conclusion, but does it in a way where it makes the whole thing feel different. Because as Anstca has noted, we spend a lot of this game getting chased by Nemesis.
Thank you.
Yep.
Hey, Brad. And it's a different feeling from two other games where you're getting to explore more openly without a significant risk that you can't predict. You can kind of just make predictions about what's going to happen through each upcoming corridor.
Not every part of it too is that not every instance of Nemesis showing up is not every instance is like the same kind of one and done short scripted sequence kind of thing.
It's surprisingly dynamic for a PS1 game, I would say. Because, I mean, he can show up in a lot of places and
then chase you across screens.
Which I think is, like, incredibly impressive for a PS1 game.
Yes.
Yeah, it is. Like, games on the PS1 just didn't do that.
I don't need
Everything was scripted.
I want to make a note also. If you're not playing on easy, that's where you get the shotgun. You don't start with it.
Yep.
So, since we're playing on easy for ease of the LP, so we can kind of, Aura can focus on commentary and, having a more fun time than trying to get through it on hard. Because this game is fairly difficult.
Yeah.
We're doing it on easy. You start with an assault rifle and, like, infinite saves or whatever on easy.
No, this way.
Whatever. Doesn't matter. But yeah, the like dynamicness of him chasing you across screens, and a little bit of a spoiler, I guess, but sometimes, there's a couple moments where he just shows up with a weapon, and you're like, what the fuck? He just has a weapon?
Mm-hmm.
Why do you have a weapon?
Who gave the zombie monster a weapon? It's not my favorite of the classic series. I won't even pretend it is. It's got a lot of things I consider flaws. But I respect it and have a lot of fun with it just because it tries to be a little bit different from the last two games. because 1 and 2 are just like 2 is just a logical progression of 1 to me. You know,
Yes.
It's central location that you go through and learn about, and solve puzzles and get through. This game's not really like that. You get areas that you learn, but you're constantly like progressing to other locations, and it's like I don't know. I guess I just call the whole thing is like this is probably the most.
no.
Oh no! Some random lady died.
He did. He
He
did.
did. This is probably like the peak of like this series being dynamic. At least the classic series. I can't think enough about the current games to go through that, but like 1 through Code Veronica, this is definitely the most dynamic it gets. In a lot of ways, Nemesis, and the fact that there's like a slight randomization mechanic where certain screens will have different enemies each time you load up and go through that area.
Oh yeah, I forgot this game did that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, me too. It really fucking freaked me out sometimes. And the fact that the story is constantly like pushing you to new, unfamiliar areas as you go through it. Because you start here, then you go here, and you go there, and you're never really hanging around one area quite long enough to really like get truly comfortable. Because next thing you know, you're gonna be in a new place, and Nemesis is gonna start showing up there, and you're gonna be like, "What's going on here?" It's really cool that they did all this with the PS1 game.
Yeah.
You can tell I like this series a lot because I can actually just fucking talk for like minutes.
So this is the boutique. It does not open until you get the boutique key, which you get when you
Beat the game.
beat the game.
Yeah.
And only 2 costumes are available to us right now. I can't remember what the conditions are to open the last 3, but this one has.
Just...
But
What the fuck?
so this is the outfit from Dino Crisis.
Oh, Regina's
Oh,
outfit.
Oh.
That's another one on my to-do list. No, that's so cool.
See, now she looks like Regina,
She does
Wow.
look like Regina.
Yeah.
which I might actually use this costume. Well, maybe.
I think you should use the boob too.
Okay, and then this is the original costume from Resident Evil 1.
it's a nice one.
Yeah, and then the others are, it's like a white disco suit, a police outfit with the short mini skirt. And I can't remember what the last one was. But yeah, this is her original costume here.
Probably just show you at the end of the LP anyways. This is a nice one. I do like that one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think we should stick with the default one though. Just for
Okay.
the...
Okay.
What do you want to call it? Like the sanctity of the LP or whatever.
That's funny though that they put it in the Dino Crisis outfit and even like
Yeah.
change the
Yeah.
hair color and everything. Like it's actually just a direct model swap.
Yep.
Yeah, it's really cool. Like, yeah, I don't know. Like I've
Okay.
talked it, this is a really cool game, just in a lot of like detail senses.
Yeah, I played this one. I think I played this one more than 2, actually. Just
Well,
because I
I
wanted
can-
to unlock everything.
Well, it's it's understandable that like I was talking
crap!
about that dynamicness is like just something that would really keep this game fresh, I think, because I beat it just a couple months ago, and after playing the remake, which is a lot of fun and really good, but I've been wanting to go back and play the original a little bit more just to see things and get more comfortable with it.
Hmm.
But it's it's a because 1, 2, and Code Veronica all take the same approach more or less. Code Veronica a little less so than the first 2 that I mentioned, but they all ultimately take the same approach. Location, set of puzzles, new location, set of puzzles, new location, set of puzzles. And this one does it the same way, but the way you're getting pushed through the events feels more like... this whole game has like an intensity to it, where instead of going for like a more atmospheric horror or anything, it really just goes for intensity. And the way you progress like mirrors that a little bit, because you're constantly being like throttled through progression, if that makes sense. Instead of, slowly finding your way into progression, you're just kind of pushed
Hmm.
through the series of events. Poor Brad.
Get away!
Get away!
Because, I mean, like, the other thing is, like I mentioned the intensity. This is probably, of this classic series, 1 through Code Veronica at least, probably the most intense this series gets.
Brad, hang in there. Why
Like,
isn't
for a
someone
long
doing
time, this
something
had to
about
have,
this?
this would have
I didn't
been,
know
to
you were
me,
still
considered,
alive,
like,
Jill.
the most intense
The police aren't trained for this
intense
kind of
game
situation.
in the series, just
Mhm.
because, you know, he is following you, and, you know,
Listen,
at any moment you hear
he's
that
coming
musical
for us.
chime and him
We're
say
both gonna
stars, and you
die.
know it's time to run.
Yeah.
What are you saying?
You'll see.
And it's... Oh, am I gonna sneeze?
He's after STARS members. There's no escape.
Yes.
Thank you. And, you know, I think some of the modern games definitely, you know, do that are a little bit more intense. Like, the opening hours of Resident Evil 7 are up there.
Mm-hmm.
Have you played 7 yet,
Yes.
Aura?
Yeah, I did.
You know what I'm talking about then? Like the dinner,
Yes.
right after the dinner scene. Maybe one of the most intense things I've experienced in a video game. At least a mainstream, like, AAA video game.
Yeah.
And some of the stuff in remake of the second game's remake can get pretty intense. But out of, like, the classic games, this has it.
This game still freaks me out. Even though
I
I've played it
remember-
a lot of times.
The only thing that really ever got me when I was playing this game, from what I remember, is, like, when Nemesis shows up. When Nemi is like, "Hey, what's
Oh,
up?"
yeah. Like, that's really long time, because, like, I hate being chased in games. I hate it.
I'm not a very big fan of it either. It's not fair. You know, it's done well a lot. Like, this game does it pretty well, to an extent. There's a few problems I have with it, but
Like, especially
You
if
know-
you hear the footsteps behind you, but you can't see them. It's
the
just...
scariest thing in this game is when you open a door to a new, like, an area, whether you've been there or not, and the first thing you know, like, the first thing your body notices when you go through the door is you hear the like, little, the like, dramatic music pick up. And then
Mhm.
you hear him say stars. You don't know where he is. You don't see him. You don't know where he's coming from yet. You just heard it. And you got that couple of seconds to be like, fuck, where do I go? And then you see him, and you're like, okay, it's on. That is, like, this game at its peak. It doesn't get better in terms of, like, horror in this game than those moments. Did those zombies' heads just pop off their necks?
Maybe?
Thanks, emulator.
Yeah. See if they're a little closer. Little closer. Little closer. Thank you.
Boom.
See, like, the peak of the moments are when, you know Nemesis is coming, but you don't know where from, and you maybe don't know where to go yet. And at this point, you also know now that you can't, like, you can't turn around and leave, because he's just gonna follow you.
Yeah.
You can't just go back the way you came, because he'll just go through the door too. So you're, like, doing, like, calculations in your brain. What do I gotta do here?
That's not what I meant to do. Fine. Here we go. All those sweet herbs. Put away. They are pressing forward. Why do you have the photo of that?
Why not?
Why not?
It-
Why?
This is, I guess, also kind of
Wait,
where you
wait.
might consider that the series starts picking up its action a little bit more. It does
Nice.
too, to a degree, but this one really goes for that. You know, there's a lot of a lot of zombie killing, a lot of explosion-y stuff going on. It works for this game though.
Mm-hmm.
I bet it's a nightmare to speedrun this.
Yeah. Now we're gonna jump out. Here we go.
In a lot of respects, I would think it's probably no worse to speedrun than a number of other games, but one factor that's going to screw with things at least a little bit is, like, the RNG and whether or not you have to dodge hunters on certain screens, for instance.
In the context of this series, this has to be, like, one of the least enjoyable ones to speedrun, I'd have to imagine.
Oop.
Yeah.
Unless there's, like, yeah, it's entirely possible that there is, but the only way I can think that it's not is if the community had figured out how to, like, manipulate the RNG.
Oh, they probably have to at least some degree.
It depends on how complex it is, because it's not like a
Those are-
fucking NES game where it's
The speedrunners are probably good at the spot, pretty good at the spot dodge.
Oh, I'm sure
Yeah.
they're really good at that weird, I mean, I don't doubt that the speedruns of this game are great. I just have to imagine that, like, learning this game, at least, has to be, like, one of the more difficult ones to learn. Though, that's just from an outsider's perspective, because I'm no speedrunner.
I mean, me neither.
Is this considered a blue item? I think so. Yes.
But yeah, the RNG, like, the fact that you can just get hunters in some spots must be, like, that's gotta be, like, a bad run at that point. Like, it's
Yeah.
that's like
I mean,
a
if I'm
run
being-
killer, because they can one-shot kill you.
If I'm being honest, speedrunning in general just doesn't seem fun to me personally. Like,
No.
I remember as a curiosity, I looked into Mega Man X because that's a game like I love, but I looked into how you have to speedrun, and it's like very specific tech on just like the very way you move constantly, and I'm just like, oh, I hate this.
I have this, like, in my head, I have this way I explain it to myself, where it's like, speed running sounds miserable. To me, personally, sounds miserable, but playing through a game I like, trying to do things normally as quickly as possible, I find to be a lot of fun.
Oh, sure, yeah.
Yeah.
That's like Resident Evil 2 Remake. I got down to like an hour and a half just doing stuff like the way it's meant to be done for the most part. Knowing what places I can cut out, like avoid, but still doing everything that needs to be done, no glitches or anything, No real worrying about frame perfect anything. Just playing through as quickly as possible, vanilla. It's a lot of fun. But like, and I watch, watching speedruns is great. But doing like any of that frame perfect stuff, tech, all that, I cannot fathom the
Being
mechanical
able to do
mastery
that,
to like a meta level.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I'd never be able to like speed run anything. Like,
And Nami.
ever.
Hey Nemi, this is a great cutscene, by the way. I'm totally ruining it because we're talking about speedrunning, but this establishes Nemesis so fucking well. Dude shows up, grabs an established character, and just kills him.
Yeah, with
That's it.
no effort.
With no effort. Just kills him.
Yeah.
So you want to stay out and fight, but not to fight him, but to go to Brad's corpse and take his ID.
Well, no, you can get the card inside.
But if you get the card inside, you have to deal with the Nemesis encounter that you could avoid if you stay out here and grab it from Brad.
Well, rip.
Too late now.
Oh well.
I mean, do whatever you want. I'm just saying, if you explaining for our audience,
Yes.
if you stay outside, you can grab Brad's ID to solve a certain, I don't even want to call it a puzzle, get through a certain door or whatever you do with it. And it spares you having to run down a hallway and run past Nemesis on the way back. So you have to run down a certain hallway to get Jill's old stars card.
Yeah.
Did you knock on my door? No? Okay. And if playing on easy, it's really not a big deal. On hard, I would highly advise grabbing Brad's card and running
Yeah.
out. Because avoiding Nemesis in a big open area is not too hard. I got it to one point where I could just run in a circle and he never could touch me.
Yep.
To the point where I grabbed the rubber band and actually just put the controller down and he didn't hit me. Now, I wouldn't necessarily advise fighting him unless you're really good at the game. But
Oh, they quite a mess in here.
if you
Holy crap!
Holy shit!
Okay.
Nice dodge though. Also, one fun detail is in Resident Evil 2, there's a whole Easter egg where you can find Brad as a zombie. That would therefore be an explanation of why Brad is zombified in Resident Evil 2, because he got tentacled.
Yeah.
Yep.
Go. Quit. Okay. And there's Marvin. Already dead.
Already pre-crunched.
Fatally wounded by zombies. Marvin's report.
Oh, I guess I should read the actual dialogue, or the actual text here.
Yeah.
Report! September 24th, there are reports of a theft in the municipal building before dawn. A jewel-decorated clock at the main gate was damaged. 2 of the 12 jewels that are installed on the fence of the clock are missing. Due to the lack of available officers at this time, I have no choice but to suspend the research of this case. Signed, Marvin Branagh. Report! September 26th. Based upon the autopsy report of a 42-year-old restaurant owner, I have discovered that he has one of the missing gems. Apparently, he took shelter at the police department at about 10 a.m., where he was shot to death within 10 minutes of having developed the symptoms. Since the city is currently under martial law, we are forced to suspend this case. At this time, we'll keep the gem as evidence. Signed, Marvin Branagh. Who you might remember as the guy who helps Leon once and then turns into a zombie.
Yep.
So one of the. Sorry, you were saying something, Anstca?
No, I was just going to make a joke. Back when he was considerably less zombified, but so ignore me. Continue. I'm the guy that knows nothing. Remember?
Honestly, my internet cut out, so I have no clue what you're talking about. But I will continue. Thank you. One of the things about this game. This game has a couple of weird mechanics. That I want to touch on as the resident Resident Evil guy. That was unintentional. One of them, the first one, we've seen both of them now, I think. First one is the choice system, which I believe is called the live choice system, officially, where you're given two choices. That comes up every so often. That's a model I don't think I've ever seen. It gives you two options. There's technically three. There's two options presented, and the third option of doing nothing. They happen several times throughout the game. Early on, they don't have a lot of story significance. It's just kind of like, what turn of events do you want to see, and do you want to fight Nemesis or not? Later, it starts to have some story significance.
God.
But
That's actually kind of revolutionary for the time too, isn't it? Having the choices where one of the options is literally just running out of time to make your choice.
yes, I believe that is probably pretty interesting. I think the whole choice thing like this at all is probably pretty new for like a console game like this.
Actually having
It's
choices
like not an RPG
that will
too.
actually
That's not
matter.
well, that like change things, even if they are minor. Like the difference is mostly fight Nemesis, or like 9 times out of 10 it's either like fight Nemesis or escape, or like fight Nemesis or incapacitate him and then escape. That's still like technically. Oh, sorry, hang on.
David's memo.
David's memo. My sanity is at its end. I still can't believe this is happening. We lost another man yesterday. Meyer, one of our better marksmen. He saw me panic once we were overrun by the zombies, but he came back to save me. But when the time came to return the dead, I ran. I could still hear him calling out my name. I could still hear the screams coming from behind. The sound of his flesh being stripped from its bones. I was afraid. Terrified. It's the 27th. The fight to stay alive continues. I took out several zombies who managed to break through the barricades. Now I'm cutting through the chill with whiskey, unloading my Mossberg on anything undead. That shotgun's become a close friend of mine. I've blasted many a zombie and a fertilizer with it. We've lost 13 men as of yesterday. In 3 hours, we'll bicker over trivial things in the meeting room. It's a total waste of time. When I'm finished this bottle, my old friend Mossberg will be turning one last body in the fertilizer. Peace at last, I can hardly wait. 07. Sorry, man. But yeah, the whole idea of like choices that do anything really is probably pretty novel for a PS1 game in 1999. I mean, like choices as like a game mechanic didn't start becoming like the hip thing until like what, like 2007? Like really big, like Mass Effect.
Yeah. Yeah.
There was some like there's been a lot of PC RPGs where they're like where it's fully free range and your choices are literally just free action, but this one does it in like a console friendly way, and it's pretty neat. Pretty cool for something in 1999. And later in the story, they do actually have some relevance to what ending you're gonna get. Because lo and behold, there are multiple endings in this game,
Yes.
with multiple outcomes, including some different cutscenes. Wow, cat.
Yes.
So we'll see a good couple of instances of those, and I will be monitoring the choices so I know what will get us the ending we want. Hopefully, we get the ending we want. The other mechanic that I wanted to talk about, and we saw it a good bit ago now, but this puppy. When we were in the office and we turned that corner and there's a bunch of zombies and it caught us off guard, Aura like bumped into the zombies. That's part of the like timing. Like there's like a weird dodge reaction command kind of thing to this game, where if you tap, I think it's the X button and a direction on the stick at the same time at the perfect timing. Jill will do one set of like a random set of dodges or reactions to things to attempt to not get injured. I know sometimes she'll like roll out of the way,
Stars card.
or she'll like stars card, or she'll like elbow the enemies to get them off of her or whatever.
Yeah.
It's a cool idea. The problem that I find with it is that it's super random when it actually wants to get pulled off.
Yeah, it doesn't
And
always
you have-
work.
timing is just ridiculously
The
strict.
timing is very strict. It's also like there is a degree of randomness to it in that you don't get to choose what she does. She just does a thing. You don't get to pick like if she's gonna push him back or roll or what. As far as I know, the game just picks one out of, I think it's a set of like 4 or 5 actions she can do, and just does one of them. I think it's like roll to each side or push the enemy back. So you can't really rely on it. I thought Nemesis ran in here. Maybe that's only on hard.
Maybe.
So,
Wasn't there.
and I know I've seen some people do cool things with it, but it's incredibly unreliable if you're not if you don't know this game mechanically very well, which I don't, not that well. Neat idea to implement though. I don't think they didn't really take it anywhere because they don't. Most of these ideas don't really get brought up into any of the future games at all. But that's kind of what makes this game have this little unique feeling, is it has a bunch of interesting mechanics for its time that don't really get seen again in the series very much anyway.
4312. Okay.
That's a good password. Like, I don't think any other games in this series have a choice system that influences the ending like that. Kind of the first game, I guess. But that's kind of like one moment in Jill's campaign, you know? Not really like... Nothing like this. And... I guess like 5 and 6 kind of have some dodgy kind of things going on, but not really like this. It's a bit of charm to this game when it has these mechanics just to itself. Hey, key.
Yay. Okay. Now we can go. Yeah, if you got Brad's key card off of him.
You cut your time down in here by like
Yeah,
to like mere minutes.
because you don't have to go and find her key card in that other room.
And again, if you're playing on hard, I believe Nemesis does come in here like way early. If he even comes in here at all on easy, I don't know.
Howdy
Yeah.
do.
Kind of neat thing is the whole going to the police station. Its layout is kind of weird. There's a few things that I don't really think add up, but hey. Cool you come back here at least.
Yeah. Like this puzzle isn't even like the statues are gone.
Yeah. Not there at all, yeah.
And a lot of the doors are boarded up for some reason. Okay. And we are in here for only one reason.
To get attacked by Nemesis.
Well, okay, 2 reasons.
What? Only one meta reason, but...
It's to come in here and get
Our guitar.
our lockpick.
You actually very
master of
much want
unlocking.
this. You very much want this lockpick.
Yeah. I don't think there's anything else in here.
I don't think so.
One of them reads Marksman Contest.
Marksman contest winner, Chris Redfield.
Ew.
It's the desk of Wesker, captain of stars.
Eh.
Wesker!
Wesker!
And and this has to be after the point where you go and rifle through his desk and find that picture.
This is long before Claire and Leon are here.
Well, then shouldn't continuity error, that picture should still be there for Jill to find.
We didn't search the desk 50 times, Anstca. It only comes out when you've searched it 50 times. There's no continuity error here.
No. Come anyone. Our platoon is cut
She
off.
doesn't have time to search the
No
desk 50
survivors
times.
found.
This
Nemesis
is
is
her
up there.
one chance.
Send in support unit immediately.
Talk to the fax machine. Yes. Fax from Kendo.
Facts from Kendo Gun Shop. To the boys of stars, I have some good news for you from my brother Joe. He has finalized a new handgun for the official use. It is the M92F Stars Special, but he calls it the Samurai Edge. It's the most balanced of the Kendo custom guns. Joe said, if you miss the targets with this, you should carry a teething ring instead of a gun in your holster. The goods will be delivered along with their proper documentation. I'm sure you'll be surprised when you see what kind of excellent parts are used for the M92F. I know that you'll want to thank the good people who developed it. Sincerely, Robert Kendo, Kendo Gun Shop, also known as the guy who gets eaten in the first 10 minutes of Resident Evil 2.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Wait, what is that bottom right item in your inventory?
Use the lockpick.
Oh, it's the,
It's a grenade launcher.
grenade launcher, yeah.
Okay, it literally, it's me, it sort of just looked like a cannon, like an actual cannon.
Cannon!
Now, if you think about it, it's like a small version of a cannon.
Yes.
Okay, it's time for me to hate life.
I'm way ahead of you.
I mean, yeah.
Ooh, got a little dark here in episode 1. There he is.
It's so funny because
It's true. Also, yes, he's holding a rocket launcher. Yes, he
Yes.
will
He's
shoot
holding-
it at you. Yes, it hurts. Yes, he will follow you through these doors. No, you do not want to stop. Run.
Mm-hmm.
What? Who thought it was a good idea to give Nemesis a rocket?
There he is.
No, come on!
I don't know, umbrella?
Yeah, umbrella for sure.
Well,
Okay.
I mean, admittedly, that does sound like an umbrella decision. Hey,
Like,
let's
just
give a
panic?
king-
Nothing to panic about.
Okay.
You're good. Oh, I guess I could touch on some of the story bits that aren't really touched on very well in this game. In and of the game itself, I should say. One thing from my understanding is that between Resident Evil 1 and 3 here, Jill was suspended from the Stars Force and was books. Coffee. Sorry, I read the sides of the background. She was suspended from the Stars Force gallery, and under surveillance by Umbrella because she was trying to investigate,
Just do this.
like how Chris left.
Mhm.
Which is why her Stars card was in the police station, I guess.
Okay.
And I believe that's the case in the original as well, because I know that's the case in the remake, and I think they drew that inspiration from this game's backstory.
Yeah. Go to the save point and gets rid of some of
Cry.
my items. Yeah, and cry. But yeah, Nemesis will chase you from screen to screen for a while.
He will not enter a safe room.
Yeah.
You are
So he
safe
may
in
wait
this room,
outside of them.
but he will wait outside of them. Especially if he's right there when you go in it.
Uh-huh.
Okay, I guess we just live in this room now.
We live here now.
I don't need the lockpick right now, so put it here. Oops. There we go. Doing good on healing items.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm just gonna see.
Did they start you with a Magnum?
No, that's
New
I
Game
picked that.
Plus?
Yeah, I picked that up in the last game playthrough.
Okay.
Yeah, they start you off on easy mode. They start you off with a assault rifle, and then those 2 clips of ammo to go with it, and then the first aid spray kit thing.
Mm.
So
Gives you 3 healies.
yeah, that thing right there.
So, like the assault rifle, it's percentage based, like the machine gun was in the last game.
Mm-hmm.
You start with 100. Every time you use it, it goes down.
Yep.
And that's all the ammo you get for it, except for the 2 clips.
Alright, well, it's been 46 minutes.
Okay.
So we will end it here.
Next time, stars.
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 Ours.